Welcome back to the channel. So glad to see you. Pull up a chair, have a seat. Let's talk about making your own chess set, because I have been playing around with little figures for a chess set, and I think that I'm really excited. That's what I am, because I have wanted to make a chess set for as long as I can remember. That's one of the reasons I got into carving, was to make a chess set. And this is going to be it. We're going to have so much fun. It's going to be a blast, and I can't wait to see what it looks like when it gets done. But before we get too far into it, we need to think about what size of a chessboard are we building for? What size of the pieces are going to be? What finish are we going to use? Because we want to spend hours carving these pieces only to put a finish on them and have it look terrible, have it ruin all of this hard work. So let's talk about the logistics of this and all of those things first before we get too far into this, so that we have it all planned out. We know what we're doing. We know what we're looking for. And tomorrow you get a carving video on how to carve the first piece for a fantasy themed chess set. Let's flip the camera around and we'll jump right into this. Planning a chess set, I have at the house here this old style chess set, and it has all these pieces you can see right here lined up in it, but it is a terrible chessboard. It's coming apart, and I had to put nails back in to hold back together. So this is trash. We're gonna throw this away. But what that does give us an idea of is the pieces themselves and what we're looking at here. So we're gonna have several different heights to go off of, but the key thing to take away here is we need at least 6 basic shapes. We need ourselves a king, we need a queen, a bishop, a knight, a rook or a castle, and our pawns. Now we're going to need 2 kings, 2 queens, 4 bishops, 2 for each side, 4 knights, 2 for each side, and 4 rooks or castles, 2 for each side. But when it comes to pawns, we're going to need 16 of those little fellas, because we need 8 for each side of the table. And yeah, that'll be a chore to make a lot of. But that's okay, we can do that. So the other consideration to have when it comes to our pieces, because there's many considerations here to have. Number 2 is coloring, because we need to have a separate color for the other side of the board, because we're going to have those same patterns repeated. So if we're going to have the same set over here, we need to have a different color. And to do that, I've got here in the background here several different colors that we can take a look at real quick. Okay, first we got MinWax True Black Penetrating Stain. I figured this would be a good option for providing a black style finish. And I've got 3 figures here to show you. 1, 2, and 3. This figure here is the first one that I did, and he is just dipped straight into the can, nothing else, and then applied paste finishing wax. He is very obsidian almost in color, very dark, and it came out pretty nice. I still like the glossy finish of that paste finishing wax. The other 2 I did slightly different. The one on the left here, he got applied Danish oil and then the stain immediately. This one had boiled linseed oil. He cured for 24 hours so it could polymerize, and then I applied the black stain. They are very, very similar in finish here. It allowed me to get a little bit of a grayer effect and wash out a little bit. You can see there's a bit of a yellowness underneath the black here, and that's that boiled linseed oil. And the left here, that was Danish oil, and this was boiled linseed oil, and then the stain was applied. That way there was something else already in the wood that the stain couldn't soak in all the way. When it comes to the gray, I think this came out a better gray than this one. I think there's a yellowness to it, and I'm not sure I like it. But I want to show you this because you got the option. You can do what you want to, and yeah, your mileage may vary. You get to pick what you like best. But both of them already have paste finishing wax applied as well. So with the polymerization effect of the boiled linseed oil and the Danish oil, you might not need the paste finishing wax. That's up to you. But with just stain on this one, I wanted to do the wax so it has something to protect the wood finish outside of that. So there are our black. Next up, we've got Watco Danish oil. This is a cherry finish, and that cherry finish produces a kind of a warm pink color. I like the way that it came out, and I did 2 figures in that so I could see both of them. One that got a sanding job done on it here, and you can see the sanding a little bit on his helmet. I want to see what that would look like. I don't like the sanding underneath this at all. I haven't really sanded any of my carvings, but I wanted to try new things when I was doing this, so I tried it with those. But I do like the cherry Danish oil, and I applied just like I do regular Danish oil, the black walnut Danish oil I got over here. You've seen me do that if you've been on the channel for very long at all, and it's applied the exact same way. All of these are the same way. I apply the stain or the Danish oil and then wax pretty quickly after. So I do like the cherry. I don't think I would use the cherry. I don't think it's my preference. But as you can see, it did turn out quite well, and I'm certain that some of you are going to prefer this. So I want to make sure I poised it as an option for you for a finish for your chest set. One thing I was surprised about, I was very surprised with this Cabernet Premium Wood Stain. Cabernet is the color. It's an oil-based wood stain, and I applied this, and these figures turned out absolutely stunning. This deep, rich red is just absolutely amazing, and I am flabbergasted at how well they came out. I would love to have a chest set with this color as one of the sides. I mean, it's almost purple, and it just turned out really great. I did some experimenting here, and you can't even tell. On the right, I used regular paste finishing wax, and on the left, I used paste dark finishing wax, which is a different color wax. It's got a little bit of a dark stain in it too. But I tried it on a couple things, and I can't tell the difference with anything that's a lighter color at all. So if it was a dark color, I should say, at all. So like these darker color Cabernet stain, I can't tell the difference in the wax. Maybe you can play in the home game between the regular paste finishing wax and the dark paste finishing wax. There might be a slight difference, but I can't really tell a difference. So that is our premium Cabernet Varathane oil stain. Okay, next up we've got boiled linseed oil and Danish oil. Now, boiled linseed oil and Danish oil are essentially the same thing. Danish oil is a recipe of boiled linseed oil, some thinners, and some other additives to help it speed the process of curing. So it's a lot thinner than boiled linseed oil, but the coloring in it comes from boiled linseed oil. Danish oil is what you're going to get the closest to almost no stain or no coloring at all. Close to a natural finish is going to be the Danish oil. And the nice thing about Danish oil is because it's got a little bit of boiled linseed oil, it's going to polymerize a little bit in the surface and help protect the wood. Boiled linseed oil on its own comes out looking kind of yellowish. This figure here is a witch I carved when I was at the Wayne Larimore wood carvers retreat at Wayne's house, and I carved this with Wayne, and I applied boiled linseed oil on it. It's been sitting over here waiting to get painted, and I haven't got a chance to paint it yet. But it's a great example of what boiled linseed oil looks like as it ages. It polymerizes the surface, it hardens it, protects the wood. It's absolutely fantastic, but it does yellow. When it comes to Danish oil, you're not going to see much of a difference in color off of just a normal wood coloring. So the Danish oil is going to color the least. If you want a natural finish, Danish oil is probably a great option for you. These three figures here are done separately. These two are boiled linseed oil and then paste dark finishing wax. This one was Danish oil and then paste dark finishing wax. I was experimenting with the paste dark finishing wax to see if I liked it, and I don't know that I do. I feel like they kind of look dirty, maybe. They definitely look weathered. If you want a weathered look to your figures, that paste dark finishing wax definitely does help to get that more weathered look. I'm not sure that I like it for my chest set, so I doubt that I would be applying it to one for myself, but I carved up all these figures here just as, you can't get a good indication of what these stains are going to look like unless you see them on a carved figure in this vein. So I wanted to give you options, but show you what's it going to look like on a figure you spend an hour carving. If you carve 16 knights at, maybe an hour a piece, it takes you an hour. It takes me about 30 minutes to carve a knight. But if it takes you a long time, if you carve all of these up and then you ruin them with a stain, that is a terrible, terrible thing. So I wanted to make sure I addressed this beforehand and showed you what I came up with and what options I have. So again, these two here are the boiled linseed oil, and this one's the Danish oil, and both of them have been applied paste dark finishing wax. I don't like the paste dark finishing wax. These would be a lot lighter and cleaner looking if I didn't use the dark finishing wax. And so that would probably be my preference. It's not dark finishing wax, regular finishing wax. Watco Black Walnut Danish Oil. If you've watched the channel for very long at all, you see me use this stuff on everything. I love the finish. And this is a little monk that I carved up just to show it. And he's got paste dark finishing wax on it as well. And you cannot tell the difference between him with the dark finishing wax and any other carving I've done with paste finishing wax, period. So there's not much of a difference seen at all. The dark finishing wax really only creates a big difference on lighter colored things, and it looks terrible, I think, on those. So I don't like the dark finishing wax. I probably won't use that anymore. So those are the stain options that I want to provide you. You obviously have more finish options than are available here. There's way more options for finishes than what I'm showing you. You can do whatever you want to. You can go with all kinds of options. Take a look at what's available. I just wanted to make sure I showed you some examples on carved figures so you can see and make a judgment. Here's these 3 figures, right? These are all very similar carvings, and you can see and make a judgment. Do I like that black stain? Do I like that cherry Danish oil? Or maybe that Varathane Cabernet finish? You'll be able to make that judgment yourself now after seeing it on carved, finished carvings before you invest all the time to make a chess set. And I thought that was just a really great thing to talk about in the introduction video. So, next up, here's the other thing we need to talk about. What type of a chess set are we going to make? Because chessboards come in a lot of different varieties. Well, I bought a 15 by 15 chessboard off of Amazon. And I'm going to link this down below. It will be an affiliate link. So if you want to use the same chessboard I got, you will be helping the channel if you purchase it using that link. But you don't have to use that link. Get any chessboard you want to. There are so many resources for chessboards out there. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. And maybe some of you are better woodworkers than I am, and you'll want to make your own chessboard. That is also an option for you. But let's talk about what size of a chessboard we're going to want. This is a 15 by 15, and it's a solid piece of wood here. So you can see it's one solid piece. It lays flat, and I think it looks kind of nice. But this is a cheap one. It's only $40 on Amazon. I like the fact that it's $40. These squares are all just 1.5 inches. Because they're 1.5 inches, they line up really well for these 1-inch figures that we've got carved up, which means the size of our figures here can work really great on a 1-inch block. So we know we're going to want to work on a 1-inch block if we go with a 15 by 15. And for this first chess set, that's what we're going to go with. This is 15 across, and it's 15 inches deep. It's 1.5 inch squares. So if you're looking to get the same type of chessboard, 1.5 inch squares, a 15 by 15 board will do you. Back to the pieces we have here, right? We've got 6 pieces: the bishop, the castle, the knight, and our pawns. Okay, we'll take him out. So our pawns here are going to work really great as a 2-inch piece. It'll be a little bit taller than a pawn is, but I'm okay with that because it allows us to get more detail in. The issue is the castle back here is 2 inches tall already. So for our second row, we're not going to go with 2 inches tall. For our second row, we're going to go with 2.5 inches for our set. And so each of these 3 pieces here will be 2.5 inches. And then our king and queen are going to be 3 inches tall. So we're going to need 4 pieces that are 3 inches tall for our king and queen on the black side, king and queen on the white side. And then we will need, what? 3, 6, 12 pieces that are 2.5 inches tall. And that will be for our bishops, our knights, and our rooks. And then we will need an additional 16 pieces that are 2 inches tall so we can produce the rest of the chess set. Another concern I want to talk about with the chess sets is they have on the bottom, and this is something you can do if you want to, felt. Some of them do. And this older set also has a weighted bottom. And there's a very small weight in here. And it's not much, but it provides enough of a weight that it steadies the piece. I'm not going to be putting any weight into my pieces. But I wanted to point out that a lot of chess sets do have weight and felt in the bottom. So if that's something you want to apply and think about, you should think about it now and plan accordingly as you get ready to build your first chess set. And that's all I've got for you today. I know this was a quick one. It's not too complicated, not too big, but this is gonna be like the first video for the series that I have. It's gonna be the intro video for this, and I'm gonna put this in a playlist. As we get deeper into the projects that we're going to be getting into on the channel, we're going to need to learn how to navigate the channel a little bit better. I want everyone to be making use of the playlist tab. I'm going to be making playlists that organize the videos far more efficiently, so you can find all of the Fellowship of the Gnome series in one playlist. The nativity set is all in one playlist, so you can find those videos relatively easily without having to do a lot of extra work. And the same thing for this chess set and for each additional chess set that we make, because I'm not just going to make this chess set. I'd like to design a dwarven chess set, and you know, maybe some other types of chess sets. I don't want to like say too many ideas because I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know which ones we're going to make. We don't know which ones we're not going to make. We're going to figure it out, and it's going to be fun, and I'm just looking forward to it. So outside of that, head over to Instagram, give me a follow over there. I'd really appreciate it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and watch one of the videos that will be popping up on the screen here in a minute. If you like the kind of swag I'm wearing, if you like the hat, you like the shirt, head over to the website and buy some of those things because it really helps with the channel. And don't forget the affiliate links down below for Wood Carving Illustrated. It's a fantastic magazine. I really appreciate you guys' time. Thank you so much for everything, and yeah, I'll see you next time.